Welcome all American football lovers back to the US Football News Channel. Our content is produced by 24 Hours Online Media. Today we will start with the following notable content. What's up, football fans? Welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite football fanatic here. And today we're diving into one of the most dramatic finishes of the college football season. Clemson's stunning walk-off win over SMU in the ACC Championship. A game that not only had us all on the edge of our seats, but also left us with a ton of questions about the playoff race. Was SMU's playoff dream dashed with that heart-stopping loss? And can Clemson sneak into the college football playoff with their conference title? Well, grab your snacks, your team jerseys, and let's break it all down, because this one is a roller coaster ride of emotions, drama, and, of course, a little bit of controversy. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow football fanatics. We're about to dive deep into one of the most exciting finishes you'll see all season. Alright, enough of the intro. Let's get into it. Clemson versus SMU. The game we didn't know we needed. So, if you missed it, let's paint the picture for you. It's the ACC Championship. Clemson, a team with a rich history of dominance, is facing off against SMU, the underdog squad that's been having one heck of a season. And trust me, you couldn't have asked for a more dramatic finish. The game was a wild ride from start to finish. Clemson jumps out to a 14-0 lead like it's no big deal. SMU makes a few mistakes, and we're all thinking, okay, this might get ugly. But SMU, man, they didn't get the memo. They didn't just roll over, they came charging back. Clemson's offense was clicking early. Cade Klubnik was throwing lasers all over the field. And that combo with Bryant Wesco Jr. was straight up dangerous. Wesco finished the day with 8 receptions for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Tigers were moving the ball with ease. And before we knew it, they were up 24-7 at halftime. But here's where it gets juicy. SMU was not going down without a fight. They came out swinging in the second half, with Kevin Jennings slinging the ball all over the place like a man on a mission. He finished the day with 304 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Seriously, if you weren't a fan of SMU before, you were probably a fan of them by the end of this game. They dug deep, and just when it looked like they were down and out, they managed to tie it up at 31-31 with only 16 seconds left on the clock. I mean, whoa. SMU had just played the most dramatic final drive of the season. And they tied the game with a 4-yard touchdown pass. But that wasn't the end, my friends. Oh no, the Tigers weren't about to let that happen. Clemson's heart-stopping finish, with just 16 seconds left. Clemson had one chance to answer. It was either glory or heartbreak. Austin Randall's 41-yard return on the kickoff gave them just enough time for one play to get into field goal range. And you know what? Cade Klubnik, cool as a cucumber, hit Antonio Williams for a 17-yard gain to set up the game-winning kick. Enter Nolan Hauser, the man, the myth, the legend, who calmly walks onto the field and nails a 56-yard field goal as time expired. Boom, game over. Clemson wins the ACC Championship 34-31. And the crowd went absolutely wild. But here's the thing. Clemson's victory wasn't just about the drama of the moment. It shook up the entire college football playoff picture. So, let's dive into that, shall we? The big playoff debate. Is SMU still in? Let's address the elephant in the room. Did SMU just get knocked out of the playoff with this loss? Well, hold your horses, because this is where it gets interesting. SMU went into this game ranked number 8, and many people thought they were a lock for a playoff spot if they won the ACC Championship. But with this loss, there are a ton of questions surrounding whether or not they'll stay in the top 12. Which is what they need to secure a playoff berth. Now, let's be real. SMU had an impressive regular season, finishing with a solid 11-2 record. But in the eyes of the committee, it's all about how you finish. And they didn't finish this game strong enough to convince everyone they still belong in the playoff picture. But wait, enter Dabo Swinney. After the game, he was quick to stand up for SMU, telling ESPN, "That's a playoff football team. They better be in the dang playoffs." And let's be honest, the guy has a point. SMU fought hard in this game, and they've been solid all season long. I mean, come on, Their performance in this game alone might be enough to make the committee second-guess their decision. But then, on the other hand, there's Alabama, who's lurking in the shadows. The Tide is 9-3, but they've been a juggernaut for years. And they're definitely not a team you can overlook. Could Alabama's resume be stronger than SMU's? It's a tough call. What about Clemson? Do they deserve a first-round bye? So now that we've discussed SMU, let's talk about Clemson. They won the ACC Championship, which automatically puts them in the playoff. But the question remains, do they deserve a first-round bye? Clemson finished the regular season with a 10-3 record, and in years past, that might have been enough to land them in the top 4. Especially after a big win in the conference title game. But with teams like Oregon, Georgia, and other conference champions ahead of them, it's looking less likely they'll be in the top 4. Which means no bye. But hey, anything can happen. The committee could choose to reward them for their strong finish and move them up in the rankings. Or maybe they'll stick with the top 4 teams and leave Clemson fighting for a first-round matchup. Either way, they're in, and that's all that matters for now. So, what's next for the college football playoff? With Clemson's win and SMU's heartbreaking loss, the college football playoff picture is more complicated than ever. The committee has a tough job ahead of them, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they handle these final spots. So, here's what we know so far. Clemson is in as the ACC champion. SMU's playoff hopes are still up in the air, but they've made a strong case for inclusion. Alabama could be waiting in the wings, hoping for a spot in the top 12. The committee has to decide if teams like Penn State, Ohio State, and others deserve to jump into the mix. As we gear up for the final rankings announcement, one thing is for sure, this season has been full of surprises. And I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Alright, folks, that's a wrap on today's video. What do you think? Did SMU do enough to earn a spot in the playoffs? Or was that loss too much to overcome? And do you think Clemson deserves a top 4 spot after their dramatic win? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow football fans, and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. You don't want to miss any of the playoff drama. Trust me. Until next time, keep rooting for your teams. Keep loving the game. And remember, football isn't just a sport. It's an experience. What's up, college football fans? It's your favorite armchair quarterback back at it again. And today we're talking about something that's been on everyone's minds. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee. Yeah, that bunch of folks who basically decide who gets the chance to fight for the national title. But are they doing it right? Is there a better way? Grab your popcorn, because things are about to get wild. Now, we all know that college football is like the NFL's crazy cousin who shows up at family reunions, drinks too much soda, and starts arguing about rankings. And when the season is on the line, and the stakes are higher than ever, the CFP committee gets to work, throwing out rankings and selections like they're preparing for a high-stakes fantasy football draft. But let's be real, it's not all sunshine and touchdowns. The origins of the selection committee. Let's rewind a little bit, shall we? Back in 2014, the CFP committee had to make one of its first big calls. Who gets the last spot in the playoffs? TCU, Baylor, or Ohio State? Well, they picked Ohio State, and the world went bananas. People were so mad they started sending letters and probably a few pizzas to the committee members. I'm sure. Fast forward to 2016, and the committee made another controversial decision. They picked Washington from the Pac-12 over Big Ten champions Penn State. Yikes. Dan Radakovich, Miami's athletic director, was actually on that committee when these decisions went down. But now, it's Radakovich's own team, Miami, who is sitting on the outside looking in. Despite being 10-2 and ranked number 12, Radakovich's Hurricanes have been left on the chopping block as the CFP selection committee gets ready to make its final picks. Imagine that, being in the room when these tough calls